Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Manchester United 0, Burnley 2. Another travesty. Another terrible performance from front to back from Manchester United. Another disaster class for Ollie as the permanent Manchester United manager. It is absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. The organisation, the football, the clinical edge, and the confidence is as fragile as ever as soon as the results start to go against Manchester United. And it's okay, Aaron Wan-Bissaka creating 3 clear-cut opportunities to score, Martial missing 2 absolute sitters. That's fine. If one, you keep creating chances throughout the course of the game. And 2, if something goes against you, you're able to recover. Manchester United can't. And people can sit there and blame Martial for his misses or Maguire for his marking. But that's a very myopic view and a look at one game. This is systematic. This is because of poor quality training. This is because of poor coaching. This is because of a poor system and terrible organisation. Because the Manchester United coaching staff and manager are not good enough at their job. And that, by proxy, is absolute gross negligence by the owners, the board, and Ed Woodward at this football club. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a disgrace what we are witnessing from front to back. And if anybody out there still supports Ollie, you have to be calling the show tonight, leaving your comments below. Whatever it is you're going to do, I need to understand your rationale. Because coaching is so very important, and we can rip players apart. And by the way, terrible marking from Maguire for the first goal. Awful defending from Matic. Should never be getting beaten in the air the way he was. Where was the desire? But that is our 9th goal conceded from set pieces this season, making us, I believe, the very worst team in the English Premier League defending from corners. 2 seasons ago, we had one of the best defensive records and we had one of the best from set pieces with lesser defenders than we have now. That is systems and organisation. The reason we're not scoring and creating enough goals and opportunities is because of the system. By the way, I'm not going to be like some of these weird people on the internet that, when Martial isn't scoring enough goals, it's because of the system and the creativity and the coaching. But when we're conceding goals at the back, it's because of the players, not the system and the coaching from Ollie. It all stems from exactly the same place. And the reason I'm angry, it's the board. They've sat there, and the incompetence of these people, the penny pinching of these people. The fact that we are sitting on the 22nd of January. We need another striker. We've needed that since the summer. Nobody's here. We need more creativity. Because, do you know what's even more important than anything? Because we don't have a system. Because we don't have a system, it is all about individual moments of brilliance. It's the only thing that can push Manchester United forward. It's the only thing we have at hand is individual moments of brilliance. Whether that be great saves from De Gea, good pieces of defending, good last-ditch tackles, 1 or 2 really good passes from midfielders in games, or great shots or opportunities converted by strikers. We do not play consistently as a team in a cohesive way, both on the offensive and when we're defending. And that stems from coaching, and that stems from the management of the team. But to allow this now to sit in place for this long, there isn't a single football fan in the world that thinks for 1 single minute that there is any sign of hope, any light at the end of the tunnel. Not one. For the board to sit there and keep Ollie in power, to keep him here with this prayer, this hope that at some point is going to click into gear. It is not. Wake up and smell the coffee. You are pissing in the wind if you think it is going to turn around, if you think it is going to change. It's not. Ollie is dead as a manager. He's not good enough. He's a legend. I'm not going to slag him off. I'm not going to call him names. I'm not going to be vile, abusive, or horrible towards him. But he is not a good enough manager of Manchester United Football Club. Fact. Point blank. And he is dragging the players down with him. He shouldn't be in that position. The board have got to move him out because we have good quality players out there. The Aaron Wan-Bissakas of this world, the Freds of this world, the Martials, the Rashfords, even Greenwood and Williams, who have been good this season, will regress under Ollie because he's not good enough. It's purely the brilliance of some of those players I've mentioned that we're even sitting in fifth. That we're even sitting in fifth, and you've seen the decline in our team when we've lost one or two big players. And yes, we might do a little better with Pogba and a little better with Martial and Rashford, but it would be those individual moments of brilliance again. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. I want your views. I want your opinions. Do me a big favor. Hit that like button. 2,000 people tuning in right now. I know that lots of you are Man United fans that want to come on and you want to have your say. We're going to open the phone lines in a moment. The Skype information is inside the description below. But do me a favor, share this stream, hit the like button for us as well. The very best way you can support the channel. Of course, we're going to delve into your live comments as well. You can see them all up on the screen as it stands right now. I'm actually going to change the setting on that slightly because that looks a bit janky to me. I'm not happy with it. So bear with me just one little moment until I make that look a little bit. Yeah, that looks a bit better. There we go. That's a bit better. There's some of your live comments up on the stream now, seeing what you're all saying. Liverpool fan here goes, this team really needs... oh, I lost a comment. I'm going to go back to it. Sorry. It seemed like a good one. Not hating, but Maguire has also dropped very deep for the first goal. Could have been offside if he'd stayed in line. Listen, Man United players all over the park are making mistakes, game in, game out, week in, week out. There is no doubt about that. That, for me, is stemming from the coaching, the organisation. Before it went wrong for Jose Mourinho at Manchester United, during the season where he finished second, I went and searched on the internet at half-time because I wanted to check a few things. Up until December of that season, so halfway through, we conceded one goal from set pieces. One goal from set pieces. With, people like Phil Jones playing. Valencia still at right back. Ashley Young at left back. Lesser players. Or maybe we thought. Maybe those players are a lot better than we thought they were. But for me, it's about systems. Both in your attack and in your defense. And it comes from training. It comes from consistent training. It comes from repetitive training. It comes from being given the right instructions. And then when you train for something and it works, confidence grows. Man United lack confidence week in, week out, and that all stems from them. It really does. All right, I'm going to start jumping into some of your calls on here. I know we've missed quite a few already. As soon as the next lot of calls come through, we're going to get them on the air. We've got our first one here. It's from Corey. Corey, welcome to the Football Terrace. Let everybody know who you support and what's on your mind.
Hey, what's up, Terry? Damn, I'm surprised I got through that easily.
Go for it. What's on your mind?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, man. I called you. Oh, gosh, I'm trying to get this off. Okay. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes, go for it.
Yeah.
You don't need video.
Yeah,
it's only voice anyway. But that's fine, mate. Listen, who do you support first of all?
I'm a Manchester United
Cool.
fan.
Tell me what's on your mind.
A couple months ago, and I've been Ollie out, man, for months now. The first half, right? The first half, we looked okay. The problem I have with Ollie is he feels like taking off players is a tactical change. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm not even a coach, and I see that all you're doing is replacing players. We played the exact same way we did in the first half when we weren't trying to get a goal, as we did in the second half when we were trying to get a goal. After that first goal, Burnley legit just sat back and said, yo, try to break us down. And we couldn't break them down. And I didn't see one tactical change from Ollie. Besides, he made some substitutions, but that's not tactical changes. Even, I know Burnley's a big team, but even say, okay, we're going to try to put the ball in the box now. Get in the 6-yard box and let's try to put the balls in. I did not see one tactical change from Ollie. All he did was made some substitutions. And I'm like, how does the board, I loved what I see in the stadium, honestly. I loved what I see in the stadium, honestly, because...
What do you mean?
In terms of, you could tell that the fans are over it. They're done.
Yeah, they're over it. The problem I have with listen, everybody's free in life to do whatever it is they want to do. My issue with the fans is that they're singing there sitting, love United, hate Glazers, but the Glazers, according to these same fans, only care about money, but you're having to pay your money to get in and sing that song, which means you're feeding that problem.
I was going to ask you that because I'm not going to lie to you, Terry. It's time that we start calling out the United Stand and the Full-Time Devils as the two big Manchester United fan channels. Because honestly, I think, and this is just my opinion, I like them. I'm a big supporter of their channel. I watch their content. Oh, I don't even watch TV anymore. It's like my life is consumed with football content. What I don't like about these two channels is that they know that we need to get the Woodward and the Glazers out, but they continue to spend money, and they it's like, because they know that they're making money off of attending games, they are afraid to take the stand to say, okay, we're not going to attend games. We're going to boycott this team and show.
There is an element. There is an element of that, and I think it's not just.
I do think that,
but it's I mean, I think that's a big part of why those channels wouldn't have a push towards boycotting games and boycotting sponsors. I also think that,
I think so.
I think that some of them I think that some of them even have connections with the same sponsors. But equally, that's the same as the Man United supporters that sell scarves outside, that sell programs, that sell hot dogs and burgers. If they start boycotting things, it means they're not going to make money. And this is a business for people now. So I do understand it from that point of view.
Then stop complaining. You know what I mean?
No, I think, look, I agree with you on that point there. I truly believe that if, my son is asking me all the time, when can I go to Old Trafford? I'm having to tell him no, because I made this decision around 2 years ago that I'm not going to give any more money to this football club. I'm not going to buy new shirts. I'm not going to buy new merchandise, because I feel that I'm feeding that problem. I saw Saeed today, and I like Saeed. I really do. But he tweeted about how horrible the club are, basically because he lost his season ticket. He needed a paper ticket, and they charged him £5 for it. And I'm like, bro, but you still paid it. And that's why they're doing these things, because people are paying it, and they're treating you like a customer. They're treating you like a consumer. Well, in any other walk of life, the consumers would walk away and they hold the power. I agree with you on that. I don't think we're going to see it, if I'm being honest with you. And the Glazers are going to be here for many more years to come. And look, we can...
and they're going to continue to rip us off.
And you're right on Ollie. Ollie's tactics aren't good enough. There's some players in the squad that are not good enough. But we are going to continue to dwindle. We're going to continue to fall away as a football club while these people own it. And even more so when the likes of Woodward and Co. and judges are the negotiators and the money men and the decision makers. I can't see it changing. Mate, I'm going to jump into some more calls. I really appreciate you coming on and having your say, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
cheers, mate. Thank you. Welcome to the Football Terrace. What's your name and who do you support?
Hello?
Yes. Hello, mate. Who do you support?
Man United.
Tell me what's on your mind, mate.
Terry.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. What's on your mind?
On my mind, I'm pissed off, mate. I'm telling you now. I'm so pissed off, bro. You don't even know. Let me tell you something, Terry, yeah? Listen, you're doing an amazing job. Love your channel and everything, yeah? Today's performance was shocking. It was poor. It was like... I've never seen United be this bad, with this bad of a lineup, with this bad of a substitute on the bench. There was nothing there. No patterns of play. Groundhog Day again. Same tactics. Every manager in the Premiership knows how we play. And this is why Burnley can come to Old Trafford and score bangers. Breaking records. Since 1962. It's crazy, bro. I'm telling you. Maguire, 80 mil, should have just kept Smalling. Why didn't he block that? Why didn't he block the shot? He saw him outside the box. I don't understand.
Do you know, look, everything you've said there, it makes sense. It makes sense. I just feel that this is bigger than whether Maguire's good enough, whether Fred's good enough, whether Marcy.
I know.
Every single player, you can find you can find a hub of fans. You can find. I was watching fans online today.
Terry. It's my frustration.
And you're right. You're right to be frustrated. My point is this: there's clusters of fans that are going at Martial. There are clusters this season that have been going at Rashford. The two targets at the moment very much are Maguire and. Maguire and Dan James, but Maguire missed the game recently against City and we got absolutely destroyed. Now they're a very, very big team, but we got absolutely destroyed. I think this is what you said at the beginning. It's the systems, it's a style of play, and it's the coaching. And what I'm starting to notice is that Dan James, AWB, although he created some chances tonight, and Maguire are not as good now in January as they were in their opening couple of months in a Man United shirt.
Because they're not being trained.
They're not being trained, and their confidence is being drained away from them week in, week out. Why, in your opinion, are they not sacked Ollie? What is it? Why are they keeping hold of him?
I mean, how much does Oli cost? Let's be real. What do you think his contract's like compared to any other Premiership manager?
He would probably be the cheapest of the
But this
post-Fergie
is what
managers
I'm
to
saying.
sack.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, let's take Martial, yeah? Martial, Pogba, best players that Man United have. That's my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Now, let me tell you something. If I was Martial today and I looked at the lineup, I would have just been like, you know what? This manager doesn't care about me. I'm not lifting this team because this manager would let me go and play injured so I can be out for 3 months. Look what happened with Pogba. I mean, I don't know. If you was part of that squad and you're seeing your teammates just falling off and injuries, and I understand it's football, you know, it's a physical game. I don't know.
But
I don't know
you make a really good point. You make a really good point. And again, this is where I would challenge again. So, yes, the manager...
You know, let me, can I just say one more thing as
go
well?
for
You
it.
see these top reds, they're top tampons, bro.
What top
They're
reds? Explain what top
sucking-
red you're talking about. Explain what ones.
All these fans that are singing Ollie's name in the stadium, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, they're just sucking the blood out of this club. They're a problem, you know. You see that drinking culture he was talking about, that is lifted off the pitch. Yeah? That drinking culture is still in the stands. These guys don't... I don't know what...
Yeah, mate, listen, I get your point. I think it's there. I think... I respect Ollie for what he is at Man United. I will not call...
You know what?
But this is where it goes. What I would say is this, mate. This is where it goes two ways. The people that are consistently and blindly supporting him are wrong. The people that are... I've seen Man United fans say, I despise Ollie. I hate him. He's a scumbag. He's this, he's that. Both of these...
Just wake up tomorrow and just resign, bro.
Yeah, but he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that for a number of reasons. One, whether we like it or not, he's secure. Like, he made money at Man United. Who knows his situation? He's going to hang on to this job as long as he can.
It's all good for him. Everyone's got to do what they got to do.
Mate, how often do you see managers do that in any situation? And I get people throw.
Absolutely.
I get people throw back at Ollie. I get people throw back at Ollie. Well, you say you love the club. You're taking us further down as an example. But my issue is this: we have been bad before Ollie, and with Woodward on the board, and with the Glazers owning the club, we're going to be. I feel we're going to be bad after him. I said this when Jose was sacked. There had to be huge changes made in terms of the footballing decisions, the structure of the club, the direction that we're going to go in. And I think under Ollie, they tried to fix that. I'm not even denying that they've tried to do it. Ollie hasn't been a good enough coach. And now what we're seeing more and more are more Glazeronomics, where we're going to lower the wage bill. We're going to buy, we're going to buy younger players. We're going to buy smaller players. We're not going to overspend as they're selling to us now. And I'm starting to distrust a lot of the things they've done. On the fans, though, as you bring up, I think that there are lots of divisive Man United fans, lots of angry Man United fans. I've seen people today, the things people are writing about Martial, the things people are saying about Maguire, etc. It's just toxic. And the reason it's like that is because people are sick and tired of the way the club has been run. And every time we get a green glimmer of hope, some light at the end of the tunnel, somebody shuts that down against us. We're the only club in the country. The only club in the country where I see fans getting angry if a foreign player is substituted off for an English player. If we're linked to an English player in the media and not a foreign player, there's anger. If we're linked to too many foreign players in the media, another group of fans gets angry. I sat there watching last night. I didn't see one single Chelsea fan, and Chelsea have had their history of this kind of thing, complaining when Barkley... They complained when Barkley came on for... Kante, but I didn't see any of them going, that's because there's an English bias from the manager towards that player and this and that. It's because Man United fans are just at the end of their tether, and they're now looking at anything they can to attack and be tribalistic about and fight about, because they can't have tribalistic arguments anymore with rival fans, because they can't banter any rival fans anymore. You can't even banter the teams that are at the same level as us, because we're there, and then have two biggest rivals a light years in front of us. So now it's become very internal, and they're eternalizing all of their... I normally rip into Liverpool fans at this point of the season. I'm used to giving shit to Arsenal fans at this point of the season. I can't anymore. So now what am I going to do? Right, I'm going to find something internal to focus on. And this whole thing... And yes, individuals are responsible for their own behaviour. But all of this has begun and started with the Glazers, the board, and their consistent mistakes, their poor decision-making. And, I've said this many, many times before. Ollie hasn't become a bad manager from March until now. He's never been good enough.
He's just been one.
Where is the due diligence? Where is the work going on behind the scenes to ensure that he was the right man for the job before they appointed him? So yes, I don't want him. Yes, he could walk. Yes, he frustrates people in these press conferences. But honest to God, if Ollie was talking this way in press conferences but was doing a good job, nobody would care. People are focusing on the wrong things and they're projecting their anger towards the wrong things. It needs to be at the board. It needs to be at Woodward. It needs to be at the Glazers. And the only way, thank you for your call, by the way, the only way these people will listen is if you speak with your feet, if you stop pumping money into this football club. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. We've got another call on the line here. Hello, welcome to the Football Terrace. Let everybody know your name and who you support.
What's happening, Teddy? My name's Dave. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Dave, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I haven't come on to banter you or anything. I want to have a proper discussion with you.
Listen, mate, you're watching your biggest rivals in football history.
It's shocking, to be honest,
Yeah.
because I remember United. You know, let's have it right here. When we used to go to United, I used to fear going to United. I hated it, and it's a little bit sad to see, where you've got. Don't get me wrong, as a Liverpool fan, I like it, but at the same time, as a football fan in general, and when you look at it and you take your rose-tinted glasses off, it's actually quite a sad sight to see what the board and the hierarchy at that club have done to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. And do you know why? I said this for years when I saw hundreds of thousands of Man United fans bantering Arsenal because although United had declined a bit since Fergie, no one ever thought it would go on this long and it would recover itself, as an example. And I stuck up for Arsenal fans and I fought against sort of almost a tyranny in the end under Wenger and the poor decision making and the penny pinching. And the reason I did that is because I'm a football fan. And I think that it's okay to stand there and point and laugh, but one day, just one day, this could be your football club. And Liverpool have gone through something very, very similar.
It happened to us, do you know what I mean? And we've been through it. And you said the question to your previous caller of why haven't United sacked Ollie yet? And the reason why United haven't sacked Ollie yet is because look at the calibre of managers that he's had over the last few years. I mean, you had Louis van Gaal. He's not a bad manager. He knows how to manage at big level. You've got Jose Mourinho, one of the greatest managers of all time, come to your club, but you didn't give them time. You threw a little bit of money at them and said, right, we want success now. Get it in the next 12 months because you were used to being at the top. And then the people at the top realised, well, we can't really do it this way. Don't get me wrong, Ed Woodward's been good for you from a commercial perspective and bringing money into the club, but he needs to stay away from the football side of things. Demote him, take him away from the football side of things, make him a commercial director only, bring someone in who can negotiate properly, who can get signings over the line.
I agree, and I agree with you, mate. And I think hindsight is very, very lucrative, and fans play a part in this because I felt for a long time that Woodward and Co have reacted to the reaction of fans, because as soon as fans started turning on Moyes, by the way, I don't think Moyes was good enough. I think with LVG, he'd been successful everywhere else he had been and it wasn't working. There's almost an element of, maybe giving him another couple of years could have worked with Jose. I never liked Jose Mourinho's style of football. I always admitted that. However, he won trophies in his first year, came second, was in front of Liverpool in the league in his second season, but the football wasn't great. But United fans started turning on him during that second season because of the football. I mean, and they gave him a new deal, and then they didn't allow Jose Mourinho to operate how he wanted to. He wanted, and I've said it before, I rate Martial. I think he's a very talented football player. But Jose wanted rid of him. Jose, who in the last 25 years of football, barring Pep Guardiola and Sir Alex Ferguson, is the most successful manager in Europe, tells Woodward and the board, who have not one single football mind on it, that I need to remove these players because they are holding my team back, and they absolutely systematically rejected it. And that wasn't even their biggest mistake. They started rejecting that, and then signings, his relationship, we know what Jose's like in that situation. That's when he becomes a very bad manager. It became toxic, and then they kept him there until the December. And that little, and I've said this many times now, the reason we had that initial burst under Ollie when he came in, it was Ollie, it was Jose's tactics and training methods that just came to fruition because the players felt almost as if they'd stepped outside of that horrible atmosphere for 2 or 3 months. As soon as sort of 2 or 3 months has set in and Ollie's training methods and approach came in, we've been absolutely awful with about a 24% win ratio. For me, there's
That's
absolutely...
Manchester United you're talking about, a 24% win ratio.
Do
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's an absolute madness. It truly, truly is. And my fear, again, is now, though, they're going to go, right, the fans have asked us to give managers time. The media have said we should. We're just going to give Ollie time. And the fact that we're sitting in 5th place, it's inflated by the fact that other teams are struggling this year. But that shouldn't be a reason to praise Ollie because other teams are doing poorly. You know, we would be sitting 8th, 9th, or even 10th any other season with this amount of points at this stage. And we're literally only a handful of points away from being in a relegation battle. It's an absolute travesty. In relation to moving forward, do you think anything? Do you think? Is there any signs from a neutral to the situation looking in? Do you think the owners are going to change their direction? Are they going to do anything different?
No, they're not. No, because it's a cash cow for them, and that's the issue. I mean, look at Hicks and Gillette at us. When we had Hicks and Gillette, nothing was changing. You know, we were consistently finishing, 4th, 3rd, 5th, 2nd. And they were absolutely rinsing the club. And the Glazers are the same thing. But when they left the club and FSG came in, okay, they made a couple of mistakes with recruitment and managers, and then he eventually got it right. The Glazers and Man United aren't doing that. They're not doing that. They're doing what they want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and mate, I could not, genuinely, mate, I could not agree with you more. And even when SFG first came in, yes, there was a few mistakes here and there, but you were still moving in that right direction. And, you had moments under Brendan Rodgers where things were pretty good. He wasn't quite the manager to take you forward, and then you then move on to something even bigger and better. And United are nowhere near that point in time yet. And now the squad is down to its bare bones. It's very likely in the summer that Paul Pogba is going to leave. Liverpool fans will remember, Michael Owen and Steve McManaman leaving because Liverpool weren't winning the big trophies. Arsenal losing big players because they weren't winning the big trophies.
Torres leaving.
If there are any Man United fans that think, we're Man United, we're not going to lose. We've got some really good talented youngsters coming through. I'm telling you now, if you're Marcus Rashford and you're sitting there and nothing improves in the next 18 months, and I know he's injured now for a number, and you're banging in 25 plus goals a season from a wide position, and Barcelona, Real Madrid, maybe even another big English club comes knocking on the door, you can't waste your career. You can't waste your career playing for this club with its current owners and its current people in charge. You simply cannot do it, mate. Listen, I really appreciate you coming on and having your say, and very respectful as a Liverpool fan. Thank you, mate.
Cheers, Teddy.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Salam.
Oh, we've got another call straight through here. Hello, welcome to the Football Terrace. What's your name and who do you support?
Hey there, Terry. How's it going, man?
Not good. It's awful. Who do you support?
Yeah, name's Chuck. I support United from London. I have a few things to say. I know everyone has basically ranted already, so I'll try and keep it short. I'm going to come from a tactical standpoint. I know that there's nothing we can do about the Glazers for now, unless Mohammed bin Salman suddenly decides to buy the club. There's nothing happening to the Glazers. But what we can change is Ollie. And I'll start from here. His first big game was the day I knew he couldn't coach us. I think that was against Tottenham. And my reason for saying that was in the second half, when Tottenham threw everything at us, he didn't change anything. And he basically tried to hang on to the end of the game. And that was the day I knew he couldn't coach his team. If you look at things like passing and possession, they've gone, it was bad under Mourinho, but it's going worse and worse every year. I don't know if you remember, there was a preseason like 2 years ago where we played Barcelona. I think that was it. Before the game, the players were doing this rondo, pig in the middle thing. And the pace of the passing was so slow compared to Barcelona. It's got worse from then. Then things like movement on the ball, speed, and taking risk on the ball, those things have got worse. The space between the lines, you look at our attack, you have Maguire, who is supposed to be the ball carrier. He acts essentially as a gatekeeper. Yep. He's that far from the midfield. The midfield is that far from the attack. These are simple things to change. Then you look at the personnel choice. I've said this for years. You might laugh at this, but Chris Smalling is England's best defender. He was my favorite player. Chris Smalling is the ultimate partner for Maguire. Why? Because Chris Smalling is a gatekeeper. He's not good on the ball. Keep him as the last man. that is what Van Gaal learned, and that's when he became Mike Smalling. He was incredible because he had one job, and then Daley Blind was the ball carrier. Maguire is meant to be Daley Blind. If Daley Blind played in this team, he would look really bad. But it's the same Daley Blind that's
there was killing it at Ajax. Absolutely,
it's the same guy.
You make some brilliant points there. You really do, and I think that's the issue. We're going to add Bryant to this call as well. Bryant's going to join us on this now as well. So we've got two people on at the same time. I agree with you. There's so much wrong tactically with this football team. It's mental. Brian, you've just watched Man United lose another game. What's on your mind?
Oh man, again, I've caught on and I've talked to you for a little while, and I've been kind of almost defiantly supporting Ali just because I don't want to see Manchester United have to go through what they've gone through already. But I think at the end of the day, we do have to hold Ali, despite all that he's done and given and sweat and bled for this club, to the same standards that we've held other managers to. Like, we can complain about the board and the owners and the structure from the top down, but at the end of the day, when it comes to what goes on the pitch, the buck has to stop with the manager, and he's got to go. He's got to go.
Are you both in agreement with that?
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, if you look at other things on the pitch, we never scored the same goal twice, which shows that we don't rehearse moves. Unlike City scored the same goal all the time. Liverpool, Trent Arnold crosses the back post, someone heads it in. The same thing. We have systematically managed to make players worse. How does anyone ever believe Wan-Bissaka was a striker? He now looks like Antonio Valencia part 2 on the ball. He does the same, throw legs about, then horrible cross. There's nothing happening. The transfer choices have been bad. How on earth is Pereira better than Fellaini? I mean, my goodness, the transfer choices are so bad. And I think for me,
I agree with a lot of what you're saying there. I really do. And I think that I said it earlier on, and I stand by it. I look at Wan-Bissaka, I look at Maguire, and I look at Dan James. They are not as good now as when they joined. I remember we didn't win a lot of our opening games. I was watching them and I was thinking, I'm excited about what they can bring to this football club. They are going backwards, and that's because of what you said. There is no team structure. There is no togetherness. The systems don't work. People are playing in the wrong positions. I think we're joined by Jamie on the Skype line as well. Now, Jamie, what's on your mind? What do you want to say?
Just basically agreeing with the other two on the line, mate. I just can't believe how low our standards have dropped. And if this was going on at any other football club, Ollie would be fired immediately. I just don't understand why they're giving this amateur complete time when his resume doesn't even fit for some team, like Dagenham Redbridge. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving him time because of I think that one of the things that I think that the Glazers, one of the things they've done is they've listened to kind of the temperature of the fans when it's come to managers previously. Yeah. When things got bad under Moyes, they got rid of him on Twitter, right? Like, he didn't even know he got fired, but he was gone. when things got bad under Van Gaal, Van Gaal won the FA Cup. When Van Gaal won the FA Cup, here are your bags. Good luck in your future ventures. They got rid of Mourinho too, and when they hired Ali, they specifically said, you will not treat this manager like you have managers previously. We're stuck. They're not going to get rid of him. We're stuck.
I think they're just using Ollie as a smokescreen. Where he brings such a sentimental value is as if to say, well, hang on a minute, he can do really bad whilst we take all the money because the fans have such a connection with him from what he done on the pitch. We're talking about managerial skills, and for some reason that's just completely blown out the window. Like I said, literally, if this was anyone else, Ollie would be out immediately by tonight.
I totally agree. I think what they're doing right now, or what they've done, as my friend just said, is they take fan temperature to make decisions. So the way they reason this from a business standpoint is, if we get a manager that the fans are okay with, even if he's finishing 20th and everyone is happy, then they'll keep coming to the stadium. As soon as that is not working out, they sack him. I bet you this, there's no doubt that they could fire Oli tomorrow. They could possibly do that. And that's why I wish our fans were like Real Madrid fans, super entitled. As soon as it starts going bad, wave the white handkerchiefs about. Get the man out. He's bad. Just get him out.
But the trouble is, who do we go for next?
Pochettino, Mauricio Pochettino. Get him in now.
The same thing will happen because how long has Manchester United been in a transitional period now? It's been going back for 7 years, and I'm scared that Poch might go in there. He'll be given a few quid, like what Terry was just saying a little while ago, and he may have a few slip-ups, and then before you know it, 2 years down the line, he's out the door, and then we're going through another transition period. I just don't know what to do anymore.
I like to agree with that, but I think the thing is this, with Moyes, they didn't back him. I mean, he was the wrong choice in the first place, but they didn't back him, right?
Yeah.
With Van Gaal, he had the philosophy and all that, but then the transfers were poor. You had a useless Schweinsteiger. He was finished. A finished Falcao. It's wrong signings, and the players were kind of like fading out. Under Mourinho, at the start, they backed him, but he was the wrong manager to back. Let's not forget, they spent money on Lindelof, on Bailly. These people ended up not playing. I remember that season, we ended up with Phil Jones and Smalling again. Yeah. So I think the issue is that they haven't found the right manager and backed the right manager at the same time.
Gentlemen, can I ask you all a question? Can I ask you all a question? Really good conversation. I didn't actually know that I could add more than one person to these calls. I wish I'd done it sooner because it's better than my voice being... I'll actually like listening to other people. 2 questions. One, let's just say it doesn't matter to me who it is. If it's Poch, if I want Julian Nagelsmann as an example, it doesn't matter who it is. If Ollie was playing decent to good football right now, if tonight we were creating chances but there was great saves from goalkeepers, if we were moving the ball well, if we looked exciting, would you then be willing to give him more time?
Yes. Yes, 110%. Because I think that is you can judge. See, one of the things about Klopp when he was at Liverpool was that while Liverpool were leaking goals and squeaking through games, they were playing a style of football that showed that there was something there with the way Jurgen Klopp was coaching and training the team that could be a benchmark to build something on. And if that was the case at Manchester United, then be like, okay, we're not getting the results that we want, but we're playing the style of football that can carry the team forward. We just need to get the pieces in place. But at the bedrock of everything right now, the coaching, the training, the systems, that's not good enough, and it translates to the way things look out there on the pitch.
I have to disagree with you on that one. Sorry, mate. I think Ole is not a good enough manager because the thing is, look, if we had in the last 30 minutes started creating like mad chances, it doesn't tell us anything about the game. All it tells us is we've added 6 strikers to the team, and the other team is sitting back, and we're throwing everything at them. That is not a sustainable philosophy.
I understand that, and that wasn't. Yeah. So the point of my question is this:
that's not the hypothetical, though.
So gents, let's just say this for a second. If Ollie's sacked tomorrow, and then the day after Poch comes in, we'll just use Poch as the person to give the example. If we were playing games well, and we were attacking from the early minutes, we were creating chances as a general rule throughout, but the results weren't quite there. I personally think that fans, like we saw with Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp, there would be a lot less reluctancy to look to move on elsewhere. I think the biggest issue, and maybe we reacted too soon with Jose Mourinho, but I think the issue is that if the football isn't good enough, if there's no green signs of hope that actually, as we move forward, we could get better, I think that's the big worry.
But Terry, look, listen, I mean, I'm not being funny, but every manager we've brought in, they've always started off well. I mean, you look at Mourinho's first 2 seasons. I mean, he won the Europa League. We were playing well, and then in that season, we finished second. And I remember the first 4 or 5 games, everyone was going Carter style of football. We had Martial scoring, Pogba scoring. It all seemed to be going brilliantly. We were 4-0 SC at one point, weren't we? And then all of a sudden, the tools were thrown down, and it's happened every single time. Look when Ollie got into power. As soon as Ollie took over, we went on that unbeaten run, beat PSG. You know, the football was fantastic. As soon as all of a sudden, the players just stopped playing. So I think something very higher up, or there's something.
I think one of the things that is difficult, though, and I think one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that comparison across the eras of different managers post Ferguson, that's a different Manchester United. So like that's a different Manchester United. Like there were still parts of the club thinking like we're not that far off. We're really not that far off to getting back to our best when we're under Jose, when we're under Van Gaal. But then it slowly starts to creep in when we hire Ali that maybe we're farther off than we thought we were. You know, and so I think So I think there's a point there that yes, under Mourinho, he thinks, okay, well we can bring in the top class manager, make some good signings, and we can close that 16 or 19 point gap between us and Manchester City. No big deal. And then we fall further away because it's deeper than just the players. It's deeper than just the manager. And I think that's the
gentlemen.
That's
what I would say on that is absolutely right. I think that, by the way, I actually don't think the players this time round look as though they're not trying. I just think this time round they don't know what to do because the systems are not there. But
that's the point.
It's new manager syndrome.
They don't know what to do.
Do you think that? Do you think the players are disrupted with the hierarchy that's going on within Manchester United, which is causing them?
Of course they are. Look at
the problem is that they don't have this. They don't play. Manchester United don't have style of football. They don't have the style of football. They just play. Everybody individual just play on their own.
You're absolutely right there. But on that other question you just said, for me, all of you listening, whether you're at school, like college, university, or working, by the sounds of all your voices, you all sound old enough to be working. If the owners and the bosses don't care, if they cut corners, if the standards are low, it doesn't matter how professional you are when you join that organization or how brilliant you want to be, their standards will eventually seep into you and you will start to behave that way. It's almost that case of, it doesn't really matter if we lose. All right, I'll send out from a football point of view, I'll send out a tweet to say I'm really disappointed, but I'm not that bothered because the big boss ain't that bothered. The owners don't care. They're still making their money. Everything's still happy, clappy internally. I think that's the major problem. Listen, all you gents that came on and joined us for this call, thank you very much. We're going to get some more callers on the air now. Thank you. You can still give us a call if you want to come on the Football Terrace. Loads of people tuning in right now. Biggest numbers we've ever had on the channel. Do us a favor and hit that like button. And if you're new, please subscribe to the Football Terrace. We have Chris on the line. Chris, what do you want to say, mate? Chris? Sorry, Chris, you had your chance. You didn't answer. Hello, welcome to the Football Terrace. What's your name and what do you want to say?
My name's Jude and I'm a Watford fan. So
Jude, the Watford fan. What's on your mind?
Well, looking from an outside perspective at Man United, I just saw Ollie say that you weren't good enough, which he had to say, but he said, of course they gave it their all and that you're still fifth. But it goes so much deeper than being fifth. I mean, looking at that, I think someone said it, how close you could be to even just easily slipping down to mid-table, even bottom half. And from over the years, Man United were always the team I hated. I can't lie. I didn't like them, and because I feared them, and they're a team that they always came up in the big games, did the business, and now it's all falling apart, and it feels like that honeymoon period that you get with the new bounce of a manager. It just goes and
absolutely. It did, mate, and it's absolutely over. You're right in saying that, mate, and appreciate your words there. We're now joined by Indiana on the line. Indiana, I know you're a United fan. What do you want to say, mate?
There's not enough time for everything I need to say, but going back to the last guys that were on, I just want to say with Ollie, it's because he's a good boy. He does as he's told by the owners. That's why he's still in the job. Otherwise, he'd be gone. I watched him on Sky Sports tonight. He's got tears in his eyes, pretty much. He knows he's not good enough. He knows it. But I feel for him. I feel for him because he's just got to. He loves the club, so he feels he's just got to get on with it. But the players are not good enough. It's not ran properly. It's as long as they're making money, they don't care who's in charge. Just do as you're told. You're employed. Be good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and see, I'm torn. I understand that people that call him a yes man, but then do you know what? If you're going to call him a yes man, that means Fergie's a yes man. It means Sir Bobby Charlton's a yes man.
I think the club was run differently then.
But you got to remember, Fergie's still taking a salary now from the football club. So he's still taking a big annual salary to be an ambassador of the football club and a kind of honorary board member. So if you call him one a yes man and not speaking out, so's the other. I also look at it from the other point of view. I think these people do love the club. I think they know the real problems at the club. But the way
we know he's out of his depth.
He's out of his depth, and I think that's the biggest problem. But I look at it this way. But I look at it this way, mate.
He knows it now.
No, I get that. My point of view would be this. If I was in Ollie's position and I could see that the club is being run poorly, yep, I would be adored and loved by Man United fans. You know, if he come out tonight and he climbed to the top of Old Trafford with a megaphone and told everybody that the club's being absolutely destroyed by the Glazers.
He wouldn't do it.
But let's say he did. He'd be absolutely loved and adored. Everyone would go, oh, you're such a great man for standing up against them. He'd be sacked. And then they would go and find another manager to come in. Maybe this time find one who doesn't care as deeply and as intrinsically as Ollie does. But the club will still be run the same way. Because while fans are willing to keep buying their tickets, keep buying kits, keep buying sponsors' products, keep
agree.
buying
I
MUTV, they are never going to change. So would I prefer to have people who truly love the club appearing like yes men, but doing their absolute best to try to steer the club in that right direction? Because maybe he feels that he can impact it positively from the inside. And what annoys me is that nobody looks at it from that point of view. And like, for me...
That's what I said to you last time. That's what I said to you last time. What are we on now? Fifth, sixth, half-built team?
Yep.
I rang after the first Wolves game and I said Wolves were a better side than us. Said that. I said that Chelsea was a game that will never play like that again this season. Ollie's come in, new manager syndrome. So, which has happened with every manager, by the way. But he just had a bit more of a better run. He's come in the summer, then he's not going to spend the money. They bought Maguire. Okay, they bought Maguire. Was he the right signing? We don't know yet because he didn't buy the players around him. Again, there's no balance across the squad. So he's looked at it and gone, I've got Rashford, I've got Martial, I've got Lingard. Let's add some more pace into it. Let's buy Dan James. Dan James wouldn't make the bench in a top 4 club. How many of these players are walking into a first team in the top 4, top 5? How many?
Not very many at all, mate.
Not Rashford's on the bench. At Liverpool, Rashford's on the bench.
Yeah,
Rashford
no, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, mate.
He's our best player.
I don't disagree that when you look at from Liverpool's point of view. I also think, though, we have some talented players here. The biggest problem is we haven't found...
I do, it's the balance. There's no balance. You've got to have players that fit together. No, I've never, ever rated Henderson, but this season he's been quality. He's been pure quality for Liverpool. But that's because the balance is right. Klopp's got the right players in and around him. So it works to his strengths.
Yep, I understand that, but I think it's deeper than that. I think it's about how people are trained and coached in that regard. Now, look, we know Lingard isn't good enough. We know that Pereira isn't good enough. Phil Jones that came in tonight isn't good enough. But I still have faith in a lot of Man United players, but it's about having the right system and the right coaching. And with that's both defensively in terms of your organisation, but then how you attack and how you manoeuvre and how you change things up. And you can see that in the sense that Leicester haven't really signed very many players under Brendan Rodgers. They got a few in January, they got a few in the summer. But the difference in that team 12 months into his reign is absolutely palpable. You can see it. And it's because he's a brilliant coach. He organises teams. He coaches teams in a very good way. Now, Arsenal were in a very different situation. Arteta's a fledgling coach with no experience. But you already have seen a fight in Liverpool that wasn't Arsenal that wasn't there before. You've seen organisation. Now, they're still conceding goals because they have players that are substandard. But there have been...
But Lacazette and Aubameyang have always scored goals.
They have because
Man United's problem is the strikers aren't good enough. How many games do you see with midfielders with their arms up in the air? What can I do?
I think it's systems. I think if you give our attackers chances, they score goals. You've got to remember this season. I don't know now. Up until before the Liverpool game, I'm not too sure of it now. They'd scored more goals as a collective 3 than Liverpool's front 3. The issue that Man United have got isn't the individual brilliance of certain players. It's the cohesive system as a team and as a group together. And that stems from the coaching. I'm watching it tonight, and everybody's guilty at times. Sometimes I see really good runs from the strikers. The pass doesn't come. Other times I see all their attackers standing around static, nobody moving. And it's a case of, well, if no one's making a run, you're not going to score. And I saw it against Liverpool even more so than we did tonight. United would have breakaways, or they'd be trying to attack, and players are running into each other's space. They're bumping into one another. That's, for me, can only stem from the fact they do not spend enough time in training on this. We're joined on the line now by Mohammed. Mohammed, what have you got to say, mate?
Hello.
Yeah, Mohammed, who do you support?
I support Liverpool.
You're a Liverpool fan. What's on your mind? United have just lost. What's your thoughts?
Well, having watched the game today, I wasn't really surprised seeing how United struggled. And since you brought in Ollie, it was a surprise appointment to me, because I remember seeing in one of Klopp's interviews when he got the Liverpool job, and then someone asked him, what does it take to be a top coach? And then his reply was, you have to know what you're doing. Like, even you have to show the players that you know what you're doing. Because, I don't know, people's played football before. I've played football. You probably play football. And so people know, or players know, when a coach is full of crap, or he doesn't know what he's talking about. So as soon as players sense that, I think performances drop, confidence drops, and you get a performance like that.
I think there's elements of what you say there are true, but we didn't do very well in the last periods under LVG and Jose Mourinho, and at the time those two were managing Man United. What they've achieved in football should never at any point be questioned. I think what's interesting, if you listen to what everybody said tonight, whether it's Indiana or the boys on the previous call, is it isn't just one thing. There is a substandard group of players at the club. The owners don't care about the football, it's about the money. They have non-footballing men on the board making footballing decisions, and they've been proven to time and time again get them wrong. We have appointed the wrong managers for the wrong reasons. We do keep changing direction. We'll go for a pragmatic manager. We'll go for a possession-based footballer. We'll go for someone with red in their blood and try and play sort of the old Man United way, see if he can get it done. And that's all happened in a 6 to 7 year period. It's an absolute mess.
What do you do though, Terry? Look, what do you do? Do you get a new manager in, start again, give them one window, couple of players that aren't going to fit the rest of the players?
Listen, Indiana, it's a really good point. Go for it, Mohammed.
From afar looking in, when the Glazers took over United, and you could see there were signs that these owners weren't really serious about maintaining a high level. You saw that Ferguson actually carried the squad to so many titles that you saw. There was O'Shea, there were people like Fletcher. They weren't like a top team, but his coaching was bringing them through. So everyone sensed as soon as Ferguson left that there's going to be big problems at United.
I get that. Onto Indiana's question that you put, I'll make you right in that. I think, yes, you can bring a new manager in. I've said it all along. I remember speaking to Rants and Flex. We were at the studio that UFF used to have, and they wanted Ollie out, and I kind of said that I don't think things are going to change. The focus should be on the board. And it was kind of not laughed at or scoffed at, but it was no, we just need a manager that gets it. And I think because people had that view in those early months under Ollie, it was like, see, it was the manager. And my view never really changed, and I've said it all along, and I've said in this last 12 months, the only way it's going to get better is if the board make changes. And I think they have tried to change. I think they've gone for a different type of player. I've seen elements of the culture that they've tried to return back. My biggest fear is it's not sacking Ollie, it's changing direction. For instance, you get rid of Ollie and you bring in a Max Allegri, who plays a completely different style and in a different way, and will need completely different types of players to what Ollie needs, and it means you start again. The fear is 18 months in, you get a noisy group of fans that start to attack that. Maybe some of the results don't start to go his way. And then the issue isn't sacking Allegri. Sacking a manager doesn't bother me, whether we do it once a year, once every 2 years. It's about the direction that you going as a football club. Barcelona will only employ managers who they believe have the capabilities of, yes, managing the players, but playing a particular style of football. You don't see them go from... When was the last time that they employed a sort of Jose Mourinho, Diego Simeone, Max Allegri, Conte type manager? They don't. It's not within their...
Yeah, but United don't know what they're hiring.
But that's the point.
Problem.
That's my fear.
Hiring.
That's my fear. That the
they
club...
don't know what they're hiring. So they just, now they've got a guy that says, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I won't talk back to you. That's all it is.
You know what I think? I think that the board and Ed Woodward realized this when he signed all of these top managers and it didn't work out. But I think he's brought in Oli kind of like, when Liverpool owners brought in Brendan Rodgers, just to steady the ship, get rid of the guys with the big wages, and then start again, and then finally bring in a manager that can oversee the development of a philosophy, if you would like, a footballing director they've got in mind to bring in soon, which would then overhaul all of this. I think this Oli is here just to because I don't think the fans would accept. Let's say Allegri came in and then he was trying to get rid of Pogba, got rid of some of your top players. That could bring criticism from the fans that probably they wouldn't need at the moment. So I think Ollie's being brought in just to clear that up, so that way a new manager can start with a new probably director of football, and it goes from there. Well, I think, but if they don't do that, then the club is in big trouble.
We hope.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I hope that's I'm the same. I'm the same.
I'm at the stage now where I don't want us to win games, because I think the more we win games, the people in charge aren't football people. They're going to look at it as we're doing well. I think they're that bad. They won't see the problems. Oh, we've won 4 games in a row, so we can lose another 3.
Mate,
do you know what I mean? As long as the money's
can you
coming,
imagine? I'd be over the moon if we won 4 games in a row. I want an open bus parade going through Manchester. That would be a huge achievement for this football club right now, and that's the madness. I don't think we've won more than 2 games on the bounce for getting towards a year. That's not good enough at any standard. But
for United to be like that, it's absolutely unthinkable. Because growing up, we used to be like, United used to be so annoying. Somehow they will find ways to win. Somehow they'll find ways to win leagues, and then now to where they are now is like it's very, very.
Well, I think Mino Raiola himself has come out and said, and again, I don't like Mino Raiola, but he isn't the only person. LVG has said it, Jose has said it. Loads of people are talking about the fact that the club's focus isn't football anymore. Football is just okay. We play football, but that's not why we're here. We're here to make money. We're here to make money, to pay ourselves dividends, to build the brand up. And at some point, the Glazers will sell, and they'll sell when they think they have maxed the club out of every single penny they can, which is why we spoke about it on the previous call. Every fan who bemoans the Glazers, bemoans Woodward, but who still pumps money into this football club, you are feeding
That's right.
that problem, no doubt about it. But gentlemen, I appreciate you both coming on and having your say. Thank you very, very much as always. And listen, everyone who's tuned in tonight, thank you very, very much for doing so. We really appreciate it here on the channel. It's always a nice cathartic experience for me. I kind of start off really angry and I die down towards the end, and yeah, it is what it is. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you very, very much. Take care of yourselves. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.